Why is it so easy to check your phone, but so hard to start studying? It's not just about discipline. It's not that some people are strong and others are not. A big part of it is actually your brain. Your brain pays attention to what you repeat and what you do every day. And over time, those small actions start to shape how your brain works. They influence what feels easy, what feels automatic, and what feels really hard. When you repeat the same action every day, your brain starts to adapt to it. Inside your brain, there are cells called neurons. These cells connect with each other and pass signals. Every time you do something, a specific pathway becomes active. At the beginning, that pathway is not very efficient. It just takes more attention and more effort. You have to think about what you are doing. But when you come back to the same action again and again, those connections slowly become stronger. The signal moves faster, and the brain doesn't need as much energy to do the same thing. And over time, the action starts to feel more natural. But every habit has to start somewhere. It often starts with a cue. A cue is something that triggers the behavior. It can be a time of day, like morning. It can be a place, like your desk. Or it can be a feeling, like boredom or stress. After the cue, there is the action. This is the behavior itself. For example, picking up your phone, opening a notebook, or going to the kitchen. And then comes the last part, which is the reward. The reward doesn't have to be something big. It can be very small. A new notification, a feeling of relief, a sense that you did something useful. This is where dopamine plays a role. Dopamine helps your brain remember what is worth repeating. When something feels rewarding, your brain marks that pattern as important. So, over time, your brain starts to connect these three parts. The cue appears, and your brain already expects the action. The action happens, and the reward follows. And after many repetitions, this loop becomes faster and more automatic. You don't really think about it anymore. You just follow the pattern. Let's look at a few simple examples, because this is where you can really see how it works. The first one is something most people do. You wake up and almost immediately you reach for your phone. The cue is waking up. The action is checking your phone. The reward is something new, something stimulating, something that wakes your brain up quickly. If you repeat this every morning, your brain starts to expect it. After some time, it almost happens automatically. Second example. You arrive home after school or work and put your keys in the same place every time. The cue is walking through the front door. The action is placing your keys on the table, shelf, or hook. The reward is convenience. Later, when you need your keys, you know exactly where they are. Third example. Every time you get on a bus or train, you take out your phone and open YouTube, social media, or another app. The cue is starting the journey. The action is opening the app and watching something. The reward can be entertainment, learning something new, or simply making the trip feel shorter. All of these examples have something in common. They are simple, happen in a similar context every day, and don't require a lot of effort to start. In other words, they are pretty easy to repeat. And that's why they can turn into habits. So, how can we use this knowledge to form our own habits? The first thing is to connect a new habit to something you already do. If you already have a stable moment in your day, use it. After breakfast, after brushing your teeth, or when you sit down at your desk. The second thing is to keep the action very small. at least at the beginning. If something feels too big, you will avoid it. If it feels easy to start, you are much more likely to come back to it the next day. So instead of saying, I will study for an hour, start with just 5 minutes. What matters here is repetition, not intensity. Another thing that helps a lot is your environment. Your brain reacts to what is around you. If something is easy to reach, you are more likely to use it. If something is out of sight, you are more likely to forget about it. As the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind. And last but not least, you don't need to be perfect. Missing one day doesn't destroy anything. What really matters is coming back to the pattern. And that's how habits start to shape your behavior. But there is something that shapes your behavior even before habits form. Sleep. In the previous episode, I explained what happens when you don't get enough of it. You can watch it here. See you in the next one.